We're on the west coast of Anglesey in North Wales, and we carry just over 400 head of cows on a house system, pedigree Holsteins with some pedigree Ayrshires, calving all year round. So for me, in the first instance, it was that genetic gain, the desire to get a guaranteed heifer calf from an animal that I genuinely wanted to advance in terms of genetic progress. There's nothing more frustrating as a dairy farmer, particularly a pedigree one, in getting a bull calf, dairy bull calf from a very good cow. The other part of the trial, of course, was genomic testing. We in the dairy industry have been using various traits as proxies for genetic advancement. So an awful lot of what we've used is correlations, whereas with genomic testing, we're able to get far more accuracy far quicker. And so therefore genetic advancement is equally quicker. I guess my main fear starting the trial was the element of the conception rates. So I got the logic of serving my better animals to sex semen. That's obvious. The bit that I was concerned about was would I start to slip in terms of conception rates? I mean, we do all the insemination on farm. We've got a level of experience on the farm between myself and the two other guys who do it, and I think we back ourselves to be as good as anybody else, on farm I mean, but I was nervous, still very nervous about the conception rates. They've improved, ironically. I mean, at the very least they've been no worse, but the data at the moment seems to show a fractional percentage increase. About 4,000 conventional services going back to a period of time, and then benchmarking them against the 1,000 sex inseminations, we've seen a 4% uplift in conception rate, moving from the conventional semen to that which is sexed. It's a pleasant surprise. I think any herd that genuinely is proud of the cows they've got and has taken care over breeding them is going to have, I think, the cultural challenge I had, where my father and one or two members of staff would say, you're not going to serve that excellent 94 10th lactation cow to pure, you're going to serve it to beef. Well, you must be mad. And so culturally there was a problem there to get over that. The other thing is just going 100% sacks. Some of the guys on the farm were very nervous, again, about conception rates. They were worried about their own targets and their own figures. They still think about sex semen as a lower value product in terms of its virility. And so they would perceive that if they've managed to achieve as good as, if not better, conception rates, they must be doing their job right. And so, ironically, it's been a real plus for us, actually, seeing them really pleased with their results, because it gives them a great motivation. Whether that's because the semen quality was better or not. The first and most obvious benefit is the sheer thrill that, because we've used 12 months of sex semen, I know that outside of the 5 or 10% bull calves we're going to get out of those pregnancies, they are going to be heifer calves and come into our herd, and they're out of animals that we want a heifer from. Quite often we end up having to serve more animals to get the right run rate of heifers that we'd otherwise like. Under this regime, that's not going to happen. So we're going to get an intensity of genetic selection that we didn't previously get. We're obviously getting an enhanced beef calf price because we're getting more beef calves. We have switched to Angus rather than Belgian Blue, so we're getting lower calf values, but we are seeing slightly easier calvings to offset that. I don't think there's any doubt that it is now commercially viable. I mean, the silver bullet, for want of a better phrase, is the conception rates. The fact that sex semen is a very virile product. It can match, and frankly better, the old conventional semen as we knew it, and as a consequence that makes it viable. Clearly it's price sensitive. I mean, if the marketplace prices it too highly, it's going to harm it. But I think if sensibly priced, it absolutely is commercially viable. I would have thought that anybody who's not currently using sexed wholesale or sexed beef certainly doesn't need to fear it. If the market prices it correctly, I can see no barrier to using sex semen. It would always bother me when that male dairy calf came out, particularly if it happened to be a male dairy calf out of a heifer or a smaller cow. And ironically, in my part of the world, if it was a all-white Holstein, it had no value. And there is nothing worse, in my opinion, as a dairy farmer than calving a cow, going through all the time, the effort, the care and expense to get to the point where you lift the leg on a freshly born calf to see a pair of testicles between its legs and know that it's got no value, and you either have to send it to the knacker man or destroy it yourself. There is nothing worse. So to get it to a point where that's been minimised or even eliminated is fantastic.